Good afternoon, everybody. I'm tired. It's nights, working heavy hours. Just wanted to give you the latest, and it's Premier Scott Moe and Premier of Alberta, soon to be ascended Danielle Smith. Unbelievable that now we're moving into carbon tax in the provinces. Yes, Sovereignty Act means sovereign carbon tax, meaning the provinces embrace WEF, Green New Deal, energy poverty, the works. The works. None other than Scott Moe and Danielle Smith today. Watch the whole video, both of them. Now Scott Moe says, yes, Danielle Smith's Sovereignty Act was so popular. Let's transfer that wealth in revenue from taxation by stealing. Now listen to me, folks. Stealing the resource revenue from the people of Alberta and Saskatchewan. Now, folks, you've got to understand this. It's cut and dry. Anyone who's followed me for the last 5 years has watched me tear into TREVOR TOMBE, NDP extremist economist in the province of Alberta, being embraced, fully embraced, just as everyone was angry that Jason Kenney did after Rachel Notley. They embraced TREVOR TOMBE, the extreme alt-leftist in the province of Alberta, University of Calgary, extreme leftist. If anyone wants to know about it, just go on my Facebook. You'll find literally thousands of likes and loves and shares on absolutely my massive nemesis, TREVOR TOMBE. Now, Scott Moe, Premier of Saskatchewan, and Danielle Smith fully embrace him. Isn't that exactly what Rachel Notley did? Isn't that exactly what led us to our massive debts and deficits over 4 years? Did I miss something here? Has everyone forgotten? Apparently so. Apparently, all you have to do is say Sovereignty Act, even though it's unconstitutional. Now Danielle Smith is reneging everything she said in her campaign, meaning she lied to all Albertans. And now Scott Moe's saying, well, it worked for Danielle, and CPC is fully behind Danielle Smith against all Albertans, so I'm going to do it too. So he's doing it too. This is absolutely WEF, Agenda 2030, and absolutely the Green New Deal as designed by King Charles now. King Rex Charles. Do you know what that means? The Latin Rex? King of Kings Charles. That's his new seal. King of Kings. Last time I checked, wasn't Jesus Christ in the Bible King of Kings? The divinity of the politicians, divinity of the crown. If people don't understand what's going on here, I don't know what else to tell you. It's sick, it's wrong. There's nothing conservative about it. It's called good words, good feeling words. Tell people what they want to hear. It's completely illegal, completely unconstitutional. So they say, well, we're gonna not take on Ottawa after all. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna create an act that sounds like sovereignty, but there's no such thing as sovereignty in Canada, not for 8 provinces and 3 territories. I'm going to go through those provinces again. If you're one of these 8 provinces, there is no legal path to any sovereignty in Confederation. And anyone using those words or telling you that is a bold-faced liar. CPC is the federal Conservative Party. Therefore, the federal government, the federal crown, and that is based on the sovereignty of only Ontario and Quebec, Upper and Lower Canada, always, forever, and a day. if you're New Brunswick, Newfoundland, PEI, Nova Scotia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, you get no sovereignty. There's nothing in the Constitutional Act of Canada. Doesn't matter, 1867, 1982 consolidated those acts, all 11 amendments and judgments by the Supreme Court. There is nothing ever in all the history of Canada, every legal judgment by the Supreme Court of Canada, that ever, not written, not made legal, gives any of you any sovereignty. Your job is to transfer your wealth to the central government of Upper and Lower Canada. I can go through the 3 territories. It's the exact same thing as those listed 8 provinces. Anyone can read the Constitutional Act of Canada, consolidated 1867, 1982, and in all those 212 pages, all the rest of the amendments, there's 11 of them, including the Supreme Court of Canada itself, you can't find anything that gives you any sovereignty, none whatsoever. There's nothing legally written there. There's nothing cemented. You could cement some things through constitutional conventions. You go through Section 92 to Section 104. That's the only legal path forward. No premier wants to do that. Not Scott Moe, not Danielle Smith. Why? Because they're already being hijacked and paid and embraced by CPC, the Federal Opposition Crown Party, led by Pierre Poilievre. And that is Ontario, specifically Ottawa. They don't want any provinces utilizing their resources clearly listed and laid out in Section 92. Now, you could codify it, Albertans and Saskatchewanians. You could codify it through provincial constitutionalism, as laid out from the original design of Canada, the Constitutional Act of 1867, that has never been amended. It's cemented forever and a day. The Supreme Court of Canada has to rule in that decision to take Part 5, provincial constitutions, through Lieutenant Governor and Premier of Province, and allow that to go through should your MLAs all vote that forward in majority. That would happen. I'm writing the act as we speak, hour by hour, every day, going to be turning that in on Remembrance Day. Until then, your resources, Albertans, Saskatchewanians, all Canadians in those other 8 provinces, the government federally can take those from you through taxation by any mode, means necessary. According to Trevor Tombe, who's constitutionally correct, any premier can rape you through taxation by any mode, means necessary. Do you get it yet? Provincially and federally, the government can tax you without any representation, none whatsoever. They don't need any. Trevor Tombe, ultra-leftist, backer of NDP, Rachel Notley's all-star economist, embraced by Premier Jason Kenney, whom you all threw out because you were very angry he wasn't doing enough for you, is now went over to one Danielle Smith and now is being embraced by Scott Moe, ultra-leftist economist that no one was happy with. He's no good. Everyone agreed to that, but apparently it's okay as long as conservatives are embracing taxation without representation. Ottawa's going to take the money to the center. It's never going to change. Doesn't matter what Danielle Smith and Scott Moe do. They can tax it out of you. And Trudeau says, if you play ball with me, if you allow me to steal from the people, I'll let you steal from the people too. In the name of WEF, the Green New Deal, Agenda 2030, it's all there. Unsustainable development, UN Sustainable Development. It's called socialism, extreme socialism. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. That's what they're doing. Danielle Smith's a liberal. Jason Kenney worked for Ralph Goodale. People didn't want to believe it. Oh no, he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Came in, bankrupted Alberta twice the rate as Rachel Notley. Now everybody's all happy, thinking that oil at record large amounts, which Alberta gets the lowest value in the entire world. So does Saskatchewan. Canadian Select, that starts in Alberta, runs through Saskatchewan off to Illinois. You folks, Alberta, Saskatchewan, see the largest discount on your crude oil in the entire world. There's only two places we send our oil. Illinois, and ultimately Texas. WTI is the bar, and we get Western Canadian Select, Alberta's oil, straight down or straight over to BC, jumps on a Aframax freighter, goes straight down to Washington or Oregon, some little terminals in Oregon, Aframax. Anyone telling you that you're allowed to take your Aframax across the Pacific Ocean or across the Atlantic Ocean is a liar. He's a liar. Liberals made sure that that would never happen in Canada. If you ever want to know who owns all of those type resource shipping, well, that's Paul Martin, Liberal Prime Minister, now retired. His son, the drug addict, just like Hunter Biden, there's Paul Martin's drug addict son who got caught with cocaine on all the ships. Apparently he's not a bad guy. It was a Filipino deckhand who lives in a crappy apartment, or at least did, in Toronto. Drove a junker, but apparently he had 20 kilos of cocaine strapped to his ship. He's the bad guy. He was the ringleader, not Richie Rich, Paul Martin's son. Paul Martin, who's a multi-billionaire Prime Minister of Canada, owns all the Chinese ships built to ship, but we can't ship across the ocean, folks. We haven't been allowed to cross the Atlantic or cross the Pacific for a very long time. January 1st, 2020. That is not legal. Canada can't ship. Its Aframax freighters would be seized if we tried. All of your politicians know this. Danielle Smith knows this. Scott Moe knows this. Now, hear me out, all Canadians. This is important for all of you, whether regardless of Alberta and Saskatchewan. We're focusing on this because of this bullshit Sovereignty Act crap that now Scott Moe's selling because he saw Danielle Smith sell it really well. So he's going to lie to all Saskatchewanians. Now, folks, you're sitting right now today at 67 barrels for Saskatchewan oil and, yes, Alberta oil. Some of the northern Alberta oil that goes down across into Illinois. Then it gets refined there. $67 a barrel. Now, how much is Western Canadian Select? It goes down or over. This is Oregon, Washington, all the way down to Loop, Louisiana, which is through Texas. How much do you think you get there? Oh, $68 a barrel. Guess what Russia gets today for the same crude barrel of oil out of Russia, who's in a war with Ukraine under tremendous sanctions, right? They're getting $88. That's the lowest, next lowest price of a barrel. 67, 68, Western Canadian Select, or Canadian Crude Index, 67, 68. The next lowest is Russia at $88 a barrel under tremendous sanctions. How much do you think Iran gets for a barrel of oil? Remember, they shot down a plane, killed a pile of people, had a massive war, and developed nukes. Went against the PFAB, went against USA in major wars, tremendous sanctions. Guess how much they get? $102 a barrel. Alberta, Saskatchewan, you get the lowest price for your resources in the entire world, bar no other country or region. There is nobody else in the world getting screwed over for the resources as badly as you. You get it the worst. Now, guys like Trevor Tombe, ultra super socialist, proven, clearly NDP, but now works for CPC or any conservative government who will embrace WEF, Green New Deal, and Agenda 2030, unsustainable development, UN Sustainable Development, that was shot down and vetoed. It's not international law. It's Canada taking a garbage can deal and imposing it on you because UK told them to. They told the federal and provincial crowns, if you want to keep your crowns and keep your autocratic system, you'll shut your mouth, you'll continue on this farce, you will rape, pillage, and plunder Canadians, especially the 8 provinces I just went through that legally have zero sovereignty and nobody can enact any law that gives you any sovereignty. So this is what they do to you. This isn't make-believe. This isn't far-fetched. This is actually how Canada is legally written forever and a day. And they do it. They do it. Whether it's the Atlantic provinces for fishing, whether it's all the way to BC and forestry, they do it. They take all your resources and they rape them from you. And even if you are getting them out and you find a way in your region, they tax it out of you, which is exactly what this video is about. It's about the new taxation in Green New Deal, under WEF, and absolutely through UN Sustainable Development, Unsustainable Development 2030. Danielle Smith is going to tax the living hell out of you, saying, well, if I don't do it, Justin Trudeau's going to do it. So I'm going to do it, taxation without representation, because I don't want to cement a provincial constitution called for since 1867. It's Part 5, Section 58, that gives me the power to give the power to all my people in my region under Section 92 all the way to 104. Resources, property rights, water rights, education, health. We can go on and on. The biggest being your civil rights. You know the civil rights movement in the USA? Civil rights. All provinces get civil rights. They're in Section 92. This is not your charter rights and freedoms. These are by God rights. These are rights, human rights, outlined since 1948. World War II fought, went, people died to break that and bring forward civil rights, your human rights, for the first time in world history. Now, a lot of the world has put that out there, a lot of it. a lot not. Is it more that haven't or more that have? Well, more haven't, but at least a lot have. Has Canada ever brought forward those monumental rights? Not once, not since 1945, never, ever, ever. Charter of Rights, 1982, is not the end all and be all. It's not your civil rights. Civil rights are power of the province. Until you codify your civil rights, your human rights in this country, you will have none. You will have none. The only legal constitutional way to get real human rights and real civil rights is through each and every province. To do that is to codify provincial constitutions. Part 5, Section 58. Being there forever and entirely, never amended, never stricken from the Constitution, never repealed. And frankly, no Supreme Court, no Superior Court would ever be able to repeal that or would repeal it. Why is no premier in all of these provinces ever going to bring that forward? They would lose their power. They'd have to take the crown off their head, smash it into the millions of pieces, meaning all the First Peoples, all the Canadians in their region, and give them the power. Do you think a premier in Canada would ever want checks and balances, rules of governance, how to govern, and accountability? No. They're never going to want it. I'm going to build that act, at least in the province of Alberta. I think Saskatchewan needs it too. I've tagged Scott Moe and his people in this. We'll see. Is he a piece of shit? Like Danielle Smith, so far, for the popularity, it sure looks like it. Sure looks like he's embracing ultra-leftist economist NDP's Trevor Toombe. Why will they not give you, the people, the power? Why not? Because the design of Canada gives them the power to keep most of you as slaves and a minority of you as savages, and they rape, pillage, and plunder. And it doesn't end. They make millions while you lose hundreds of billions. They're never going to win it back for you, no matter what they say. They're never going to win it back for you. Not until they do provincial constitutions. How do you do that? You need a Constitutional Convention Act in your province. Outlined Part 5, Section 58, going through and cementing only Section 92 to 104. Never go over 91. It's not our privy, but it doesn't have to be. It's a tremendous start. Think about all the provincial crown land in all our provinces. Imagine that being separated and divided up between all the Canadians in the region and all the First Peoples in the region. Treaty Indian, unceded Indian, Métis, and Inuit. Think about that. Think about that. Before people say, oh, I've had this argument, people said to me, oh, but I like the Crown land. I like the Crown land. Millions upon millions of square acres. So many vast millions and millions and millions of square acres. You couldn't, in your lifetime, walk it. Jesus Christ, in his lifetime, walked 3 countries. Not even remotely close to even one province in Canada in its provincial crown land. Jesus couldn't even walk that in his 32 years. Couldn't even have done it. Think about it. Your average Canadian in first person, even the First Peoples who've probably toured limitedly through the crown lands, is less than 5% human, Canadian, and First People transversing in the Crown lands. Most of it has remained untouched by you view, but not foreign enterprise and not by foreign governments and foreign interests in resource extraction. That continues on forever and a day. And you all get the bill. You all get the bill, or like the first people get the poison pill in the land and in the water. It's not right. It's not right, and the country shouldn't run like that. There are only 3 countries in the world that have this kind of system and do this with the land. Canada is one of the biggest countries in the world, yet we have the most limited amount of its land made available to us. They say, oh, you can't grow anything there. Did you know that when my ancestors came to Alberta, when they came, they said, you'll never grow anything there. Never in a million years. Yet from Sundre all the way past Peace River, all the way to the top of Alberta. We got high level. We go on, we could go into northern BC. People have been farming that for more than 100 years. They're telling me it's not arable land, it can't be worked, it can't be this, it can't be that. It's a lie. It's always been a lie. A justification for an idea that someone can pick up a crown, put it on their head, and be a divine human God over all of you. Constitutional monarchies have no place in the world since 1945. That was the promise by the Allies. King George VI made that promise. France was already taken by Germany. They had no other recourse but to capitulate, and they went into becoming a republic. Are all republics good? No. There are many republics out there that keep all the crown powers. They never got rid of them. You can call it president, but they operate in the same constitutional monarchical system. They have governor general, lieutenant governor, defined in crown. So not all of them are broken free. Not all of them are what they're supposed to be. They could be, but it needs an audit. Now, I can't fix the entire world, but we can all together fix Canada, fix our regions. It's what we have to do. Thanks, everybody. That's my video. Get it out there. Scott Moe, Danielle Smith, lie, cheat, steal, just like everybody else. They've already taken Trevor Tombe. Explain that to me. I would like these supposed conservatives who say they're conservative, because I'm scratching my head going, are you sure you're not liberal socialist like everybody else? Because you stink like one. You stink like one. And you tell me all these things, but yet over and over, it's rinse, repeat, again and again and again. Thanks, that's my video. Bye now. Sure. Get it out there. Lots of content, credible, real, verifiable. Tagged all the places you can go read. Any Canadian can read it. It shows you clearly what is what. Thanks. Bye now.